Welcome to another episode of Use Your Words Podcast. This time we're talking about something a little different. We're talking about this question that Aaron had. This question that Aaron had was this: why do Christians struggle with knowing what's best for them, but believing the worst? And sometimes, and this is what I added on, thinking that maybe they're not worthy of what they know is best for them or a blessing that they're receiving. So let's talk about that.
Why are you, Josh, why are you like all shucking over there? Because I just see him like, oh shucks over on the side. And I'm like, oh, whoopsie doopsie, what do we do over here?
What did we bring up?
What does old man Josh want to say now about technology? What is he scared of?
Continue, Paul.
Because Enforcer says you're an old man now, so.
Anywho,
You have to catch me up
I
later.
can catch you up with that.
All right.
We'll catch you up later, old
That
man.
has nothing.
I have passed off the title of old man.
Should I start getting touch of gray?
Oh, Mr. Josh Brewer, how we do miss you. Mr. Old Man Brewer and Enforcer. I recently talked to the Enforcer about some other things, and it was good to hear from both of them. They're doing well. They're getting ready for wedding number 2. And they will be getting married this time in an actual, like, big ceremony type pair class. I mean, they're legally married, but just they're doing the ceremony marriage.
I was asking, I was like, are you actually getting like remarried again, or is you just? I don't.
Yeah, Pastor was saying this is the first time he's actually married a married couple. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Cool.
I don't even know where it's at. I think.
Aren't you in the wedding?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's at Grace Church.
Okay, it is still at Grace. So
That's what the invitation said.
invitation.
Anyways.
What kind of best man I am.
I know. Best man for hire, Aaron Johnson. He will
But the
forget about your
worst.
wedding. He will forget to throw your bachelor party, and he will forget your name
Absolutely.
and name guitars after you randomly.
Yeah. Sure.
So, welcome to another episode of Use Your Words Podcast. My name is Paul. I'm joined with Aaron, and the only reason I have Aaron with me this week is because we're pre-recording. Otherwise, he is out in Colorado as of this time.
Woo!
So,
Getting high in elevation because it's higher in the mountains there, closer to the clouds.
I wish you all could see the disappointment on my face right now because there is so much of it right now, and I am judging you.
Dang it. It's all right. I can deserve it.
Yeah. Anyways, this week, Aaron, when we were kind of I was like, hey, shoot me your ideas for topics and that. He started with one. I was like, I don't know how I could get that one all the way for a full episode.
Yeah.
It could be touched on another thing. But this one was interesting. And I want to know what brought this to mind.
What do you mean what brought it to
I
mind?
want to know if there is something that sparked this thought or something like that ahead of time. That is Christians struggling with knowing what's best for them and believing the worst.
Yeah.
So I read that and I was like, that's very intriguing and kind of specific and very seems like it was sparked for something in a personal situation. So I was like, well, I want to know, was there something that sparked that thought, that an idea of a topic that...
Well, as far as from what you added, the whole, like, are we...
no, I added the thinking you're not worthy
worthy.
of whatever it is. Because that's kind of how I, when
Yeah.
I read your thing, knowing what's best for you and but then believing the worst, I kind of read that as thinking you're not worthy of that best for you.
Right.
So that's what I was like, was there something that has happened or something in your head that sparked this thought?
Yeah, it definitely crosses. I mean, it's always not, and that's not always in my mind. But I don't know. There's times where it comes up, and it's mainly when I'm in a slump, I suppose. But as far as like the whole worthy part, I mean, none of us are worthy of what we are.
Right, and I
In
can
that
I
aspect.
can agree with that. Yes,
Yes.
But there is also at a point where and here's where I'm thinking this, right?
Yeah.
Like you, Mr. Johnson, you're as I said, decent. You're a good musician.
So I thought you were about to say I'm a deacon. I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, you're not. But you're decent. You're a good musician. Whether you like to believe it or not, right?
That I can go with decent. I can do.
You're a
decent.
good musician.
Son of a gun.
Okay. Why do you think you're not worthy of that designation of good musician?
Because I compare myself to other musicians
Okay,
that
there
I
we
feel
go.
like are great.
Okay. I didn't say you were great. I said
No,
you were
said
good.
I know, but
Okay. But that
Yeah.
same thing comes along, like when I'm given the opportunity to speak at conferences, I'm like, no, I shouldn't be up there presenting on stage with them.
should.
But why is that? That
you're
it's that
great.
it's that same situation sort of deal. So that's why I was like, I wanted to know if there's something in particular that sparked off this conversation in your brain.
Man. Well, one is because I have too much time to think at work. I hate it.
Oh, ever since I took away the headphones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, even with that, really, I could put my sad or angry music on and then just be like, bleh. But anywho, thinking too much. I do it a lot. It's great. But I don't know. Pretty much what got me to think was because like talking to some friends, they're very encouraging with the whole thing of like God being in control and stuff like that, and he knows what your days to come and stuff like that, and all this other like good encouraging stuff. I'm like, yeah. He's like, that'd be true. I was like, but if I'm not going after him, is it true? Kind of thing. This is the thing where I guess as far as it's like, well, this is where I don't know. I just have fun and I don't like it because it's like, no, I mean, I haven't been doing great as far as like being consistent with stuff, whether it's spending time with God or whatever, reading, prayer, anything like that. The only thing is basically about, okay, I show up on a Sunday and if I'm playing for music, and then. So there's that, and it's like, hey, it's like, well, yeah, God, God's gonna take care of you, all this other stuff. But it's like, if I'm not putting in the effort, spend time with him, he's not gonna want to give me like any kind of like blessings or rewards or anything like that, because I'm not doing anything to earn anything. And the one thing, like the part, as far as like salvation goes, it's like you don't earn that. That's a gift given to you. And this is, we've kind of had conversations somewhat about this stuff at work. And it's like, because it's like okay, yeah, you believe in Christ, you admit you're a sinner, and do all that stuff, and you'll be forgiven and whatnot. You can have people that do that, but then not actually live a changed life.
So like fire insurance sort of deal.
Yeah,
Get out of hell free card.
Yeah, but that, as far as I could say, is not a legitimate thing, right? Or no?
Okay.
I don't know. But basic thing was, it's just like, I haven't been doing anything to deserve anything that's good. And I know we've talked about this before in the past, where it's just like, it's like, yeah, I don't deserve any of the stuff I have, which is already upsetting to me. And that's where I also look at too much of like the whole, I guess, worldly crap. That doesn't, nice as it is, it doesn't do anything. But it's just all that. And it's just like, I don't deserve it. I deserve pain, suffering, and stuff. And again, going to the whole I'm not worthy, which depending on how you're looking at it, none of us are. We've got it. And that's where I just don't understand. Also, is like, why have I had it so good? But at the same time, I'm just like fighting diffs. Here we go. Therapy session with Aaron Johnson. Oh no, Paul's got a lot of writing.
I wrote down therapy session with Johnson.
Oh my gosh. Holy crap.
I wrote it down as he was talking.
We're on the same page.
I am going to have to include a PDF of my notes that I just wrote here.
Because that was legit.
Because I literally wrote therapy session with W/Johnson.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. There's so much stuff. My mind just goes. This is again why I kind of hate working at the place I do, because like it just gives myself rein to think about anything and everything, and then my mind just goes nuts with it. And for me, it's like I'm always a negative. Generally, I'm always like a negative. I guess when it comes to myself, that's what's just irritating about myself. But
irritating about yourself, you suppose.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to have a long therapy session.
I love therapy sessions, but I hate them at the same time.
I hope I have enough nibs.
Enough what?
Nibs for
what the heck is that?
For my pen.
That's awesome. It doesn't just... But yeah, really, that's just a mess at...
There's a lot to unpack here.
I know. That's what I always bring.
Okay.
Take it away, Paul. What do you want to talk about?
Wow. Part of me wants to actually cover the topic. Part of me wants to just talk about you.
No, I hate talking about me. It's boring.
But
can have a two-parter.
I'm trying to figure out how to merge the two right now off the top of my head on the fly. This is worse than DMing a session of Pathfinder and
Oh, dang.
no. Listen,
Okay.
this is worse than trying to session a session of Pathfinder and the lieutenant playing a female character tries flirting with all the shopkeepers for discounts. This is worse than that.
Sick.
And it's just because of the fact that I do not want to flirt with him that I'm not giving him a discount. That's how it is. Okay.
But, I mean, I'm trying to, I can't, mine's just gone now. Went off on a splurge. Now it's like, where am I going?
It went off on a splurge and it went off in multiple directions. And now we're going to try to bring this focus back in.
I'm so complex.
This is why when I ask you what brought this idea up, I will either regret it because there's not enough or regret it because there's too much.
There's just too much. And this is one of those, definitely one of the too much.
Okay, so let's break this whole thing into a couple pieces here.
Let's do it.
Okay, Christians struggling with knowing what's best for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, as I've said in like previous, well, not out in older episodes or whatever, when I guess we have a similar discussion. It's during that time when you're spending a lot of time with God and, you know, his, you'd say, children or other brothers and sisters and stuff. I mean, those are definitely highlights normally when I'm personally feeling best. But it's like, even in the midst of those times can also be difficult. Because I always imagine it being, you know, the closer you are, the more you're trying to spend time with Christ, the more the good old devil himself is going to be trying to be active and stopping you from doing so. And that's like, you know, whenever I have like long periods of, whether it's like within a day or just like a period of being like a week or so or more or whatever, of spending like, I guess, quality time in the Word or whatnot, those are also the times where temptations are the hardest. But, you know, being in a time of not being consistent with it and kind of slumping off or slacking off, kind of weird because it's like the temptation was still there, but now it's also just easier to go in with, not so much fighting, and it's like, ugh, okay.
I actually like the word slumping.
Slumping?
Yeah. No, it's not just slacking. It's not just being lazy about it. It's like you're actively ignoring and pushing off. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an actual definition for the word slumping.
Well, I created it. You're welcome, world. No, I probably take it.
Oh, no, there is.
What?
It's a verb, present participle.
Whoa.
And it has a couple definitions.
Okay.
To sit, lean, or fall heavily and limply, especially with a bent back.
Oh, so
Like a slump, like a standard slump, right? To undergo a sudden, severe, or prolonged fall in price, value, or amount, or fail or decline substantially. So slumping is, so that's a slump, right?
Yeah.
But slumping is you're actually
what's the action?
You're actually doing it. You're actively leaning over. You're actively falling backwards. You're actively
failing.
So
then I guess I did use the right word.
So yeah, slumping. I like slumping better in that regard. And here is why. And I see your face right now, and it's kind of just that weird Aaron Johnson face. So what I found interesting in your little rambling that you just had here. No. You said something very profound, I think.
What?
I know. Profound? Never. You said that when you were in the word semi-consistent, the temptation was there, and it was harder to fight.
Well, the fight was hard.
Yeah.
Because you want to do what's right, but then it's just like, but that though. But
right.
It's like, no.
I know, that's what I said. The fight was harder.
Yeah. Okay.
When you were not in the word, it was just like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You're like, let me pull up that website and do my thing, or whatever.
That bottle of whatever and
or whatever,
go
right?
Down.
So that's what I said. It sounds simple, but that is profound, because the fact is, between those two examples, in one example, you were reminded, and you're consistent with the word, you were reminded every time you participated in the word what was best for you. Mm-hmm. And when those things came, your resistance to it was higher.
Oh, yeah.
And there was actually that little like friction in the head of like, do I do it? Do I not do it? Do I not? No, I don't do it. Nope, can't do it.
Right.
And when you weren't in the word, it was all of a sudden like, yeah,
Sounds
cool.
pretty cool.
So that's what I said. You said something actually profound there. Good job for you. But that's only one part of it. Because the way you worded your text message, struggling with knowing what's best for them, that can be in multiple areas.
Right.
That could be in things such as a career. That could be in things such as, should they get married? Do they have children? What should they do with their free time in their life? What should they do with their entertainment? There's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes knowing what's best sounds way too simplistic. Because here's the bad rub for you, Aaron, and I'm sorry, and you'll learn this as you grow older.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
The Bible does have a lot of what we should and shouldn't do, right?
Oh, yeah.
But also doesn't speak to a lot of what we should or shouldn't do in the world. Should you listen to that music? Well, there's principles, but there's no like, you should listen to Lil Nas, you shouldn't listen. There's nothing like that in there, okay? No. Now, could you follow some principles with it? Yes. Yeah. And with those principles, you would go, no, probably shouldn't.
Probably
okay. No. Should I listen to that song called Party with the Devil? There's some things in there you could go, based on these things in the Bible and what it says I should put into my mind and my heart, and that probably shouldn't.
Probably should. Gotta be careful yourself.
Yep. But let's say it's just a weird instrumental. Is there anything about that in there? No. Because guess what? Instrumental, for the most part, there are some people, like you might be one of those, where the instrumental may change your mood some. Some people just feel like, their moods may change with the instrumental and all that. And that's fine, But maybe for someone who it doesn't, let's say, doesn't impact, should they or should they not listen to that instrument? At that point, the Bible goes,
is it bad or good for you?
Should you wear that color outside?
No.
Should you get an Android or an iPhone?
Android, duh.
So, there's things out there that the Bible gives principles to, but doesn't speak directly of.
But some of those musics, they have beats of the devil in.
That's if you believe that drums are of the devil, then yes. But I'm not one that believes that drums are of the devil.
I don't either.
As I'd say, considering you're a drum player.
If I didn't believe that, there's a problem here. Oh, man.
But yeah, so knowing what's best, in those regards, those can be, somewhat tricky. And some people like to live their lives where they have plain black and white. This is okay. This isn't.
Right.
This is okay. And some people live their lives like that. And that gets to be a little hard, at times when you have certain things come. Can I go watch this movie? Can I not? Well, I don't know. Is it in the Bible approved list? Well, what's the Bible approved list? I don't know. Because there's a lot of good movies out there. Don't get me wrong. That I look at them, I watch them, and I'm like, this isn't anything that I'd be like, I can never, as a Christian, watch this. I'd be like, good piece of entertainment. Now, obviously, if it's something like, I don't know, what was that back, like striptease or strippers or whatever? Yeah, okay.
I've never seen it. I've never heard of it, bro.
Or Magic Mike or something like that, then no.
Oh, see, okay. That makes me think of like 50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
Now, I've never wanted to see that.
Well, you're also not female, but okay, go on.
This is true too. But yeah, I heard that. Because I thought that movie was basically supposed to be like a porn movie. I guess there's not as much. I haven't seen this. I don't. I feel like I've heard that there wasn't like a ton of like sex.
They probably had it toned down for the movies. Books are supposed to be a lot more. So remember, 50 Shades of Grey started off as well. No. It started off as a erotic fan fiction of Twilight.
No, I definitely don't like it.
That's how it started.
I see. I could never get into
Twilight. It turned into just 50 Shades of Grey, which with minus the vampires and all that, and then
the werewolves and
all that. But
okay. But for movies like that, I would not to watch. And
again, that comes back to there's some biblical principles when choosing entertainment, movie, and all that. Right. Watching people have sex, aka pornography, is definitely on the list of things not to do. I didn't say all movies are good for it. Like, no. There are some movies I've watched. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that in this movie. It's like, no.
Thanks, movie. Yeah, I remember.
Like Napoleon Dynamite, there's nothing in there like that. Whether it's your humor or not, it's a decent movie. Was it Nacho Libre? Not my favorite movie in the world at all. I'm not a fan of it, but it's not like a movie where I would sit there and be like, we must boycott Nacho.
This is sinful.
I'd be like, it's just not my type of humor. If you like that type of humor,
great,
go for it. That's perfectly fine.
What was? I remember watching. I don't know if it was it an alien movie or a predator movie? I don't know. But they did have like some like random sex scene in there. And I think about that like afterwards. Like it's like, okay, You made it through, whatever. But and I guess, and this is one thing I wonder, like, maybe we've talked about this before, but as far as that goes, like, if you're watching something and there might be explicit content in there, like, can you watch that without sinning in a sense? And like, I guess mainly if there's like something you're watching that there's like a known sex scene to come on or something like that, it's like, can you make it past that without sinning?
The big thing, and this is where it comes down to every individual person in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, again, if it's like, so here's my rating criteria for it. If it's like a 10, 15 second thing, and I can go through it, whatever. But if it's like, hey, let's have a half-hour orgy scene. Yeah, no amount of fast forwarding is going to get you through that cleanly.
You just hit the skip button, not fast forward. Remember that's still a button, right? Where you like jump.
Who uses Blu-ray and DVD? Okay.
Shoot, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's not like a streaming thing. They don't have that.
No, they have the fast forward.
Whoa. Okay. This shows you how much I pay attention. Well, no, because I don't know. I was wondering about that even too. Because I mean, obviously, because it's if it's avoidable, then avoid it. I would say no. I guess when I had suggested this, I was thinking more so of just like having like things of the Lord on mind, whatnot being good for you.
Right.
Versus doing your own. Because it's pretty much like the stuff that you do. Generally, me saying doing your own thing is more so of being like a sinful nature. And doing stuff that makes you feel good kind of thing. Rather than, doing what Christ would want you to. And that being better off for you than you giving whatever it is you want. Because that's, in the long run, is not going to do it. Like, see, to say this, I'm going to regret this. Because also, same time, maybe I just shouldn't say. I'll say it, but I guess it's again goes on how I go about getting it. It could be bad or not. Motorcycle. Man.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Motorcycle.
Oh, I don't want to answer in session.
Is that really a best for you type situation?
Oh, I guess that's
because that's more of a toy type situation.
No, it is.
It's not a best for you. A best for you type situation is what, like career, like spouse, children.
Oh.
What do you do with your free time? That sort of stuff. Now, something that I found interesting, what you brought up, and this was kind of a theme I picked up on. Besides the not putting in the effort, because that was a theme that I picked up on, where you were asking, when I'm not putting in the effort, I'm noticing it's easier to give in, noticing it's easier for this to happen. I'm not concentrating on what God wants from me. But the second thing that went with that is that and correct me if I'm wrong on you're thinking on, but I kind of got the phrase from you that the way you're describing it, the way you're doing it, is that it sounded like a works-based rewards system.
Right. See, that's not how it's supposed to work, right?
Well, that's not how it works.
It's not how it works. It's not, you can't work yourself into
you can't work yourself into heaven.
No.
You can't work yourself into grace.
No.
You can't work yourself into blessing.
Well, no.
There was a hesitation there for a second.
Yes.
Why the hesitation?
I guess because, aren't you blessed based on your faithfulness at times with certain things?
So I'm thinking of what we read even in the church today, church service today. We were reading how sometimes those who aren't following and pursuing the path of righteousness are being blessed and rewarded, and those who are may not. So if you want to say it's a works-based thing, and I'd have to look up exactly what passage we read this morning at church.
Yeah.
That right there contradicts you.
Right, yeah.
Because if it was a works-based rewards system, then if you did well, you would get rewarded 100% of the time. Now, that's in terms of a earthly rewards system. Okay. The eternal, the heavenly reward system, that is a guaranteed thing of like, you run the race, you continue and pursue faithfully with God. There will be rewards. That's kind of guaranteed. The whole idea of us throwing our crowns back at the feet of Christ and at the feet of God. That, yes. But earthly wise, it's not a guarantee.
No.
It's not a guarantee that Aaron sits there and prays in the corner, and
He's good stuff.
he reads his Bible, and that's all he does all day, every day. That's not going to guarantee all of a sudden a Porsche flying into his driveway. Okay.
Man, I don't want a Porsche. I ain't gonna settle for that.
But it's not that. It's not immediately
No.
I am going to be holy, therefore I will get a reward. It's not that.
And then I guess I
We would like it to be that,
oh yeah, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
because it's like,
Because then people
it's like,
do it.
look, I am being good. I am doing what is right. I am sacrificing. Come on, God, make it rain. It's not like that.
Make the moolah come down.
It's not.
No, and I guess that's not. I don't think of it as far as like in that way. As far as like that kind of like rewards, because I mean, that's the thing. It's like we're always we're being rewarded whether we realize it not.
Right.
Or the rewards might be things that we didn't expect or necessarily wanted for original. And that's the thing where it's like when we come to realize that Christ has worked things out for our good, whether we know it or not right away, or don't know it until we go to heaven. Yeah, it just takes a long time for us to realize like, oh, that. I mean, that's why I guess I think of like for like trials and stuff, because each of us have different trials to some, but then like down the road can see how our struggles and trials can be there to either help guide other people that are going through something similar, or be surprised on how it helps you later on, even though it sucks. But
Yeah. And I gotta make a correction. I was wrong. We didn't read today at church. We read it at youth, so that's why.
oh, okay.
So let me read you what it is. It's from Ecclesiastes. It's Old Testament.
Ooh.
Ecclesiastes after Proverbs. So it's Ecclesiastes 8, starting at verse 14. There is a vanity that takes place on earth, that there are righteous people to whom it happens according to the deeds of the wicked, and there are wicked people to whom it happens according to the deeds of the righteous. I said that this also is vanity, and I command joy, for man has nothing better under the sun but to eat and drink and be joyful. For this will go with him in his toil through the days of his life that God has given him under the sun. When I applied my heart to know wisdom and to see the business that is done on earth, how neither day nor night do one's eyes see sleep. Then I saw all the work of God, that man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun. However much man may toil in the seeking, he will not find it out. Even though a wise man claims to know, he cannot find it out. Now, the beginning, verse 14, is where it talks about that there are righteous people to whom it happens according to the deeds of the wicked. In other words, there are good people who are being righteous. They're walking with God. They're praying. They're doing that. But things are happening to them that you would associate would happen if they were evil people.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Their dog died. They got real sick with cancer. They're in debt. Things happen, tragedies.
Yeah. So you could look at Job for that.
Yeah. And then it continues on and says, and there are wicked people to whom it happens according to the deeds of the righteous. They're healthy. If you're Joel Osteen, you're wealthy and you're wise, and you have the good things in life, which again comes back to that. If you think of it as that workspace blessing, doesn't work then, because even in Ecclesiastes, it's being called out that, hey, evil and the good, you can't see it based on their temporary rewards. Their eternal rewards, completely different
story.
So I would say works-based blessing for eternity, yes, combined with faith, but not for the temporal.
Not the here and now.
Yeah. Which leads right into your next question.
What's my next question?
What do I have to do to be worthy?
Not to be worthy.
Because by default...
Which is great.
Yeah, it is great. It actually is great. It actually is great. It's actually very relieving in that regard.
That gives nobody... I wish I could remember, but it's like, it's so no one can boast. Oh, I'm talking about I don't know. I have to
okay,
find it.
But so that question of what do I have to do to be worthy, and that's the thing that a lot of people are chasing down through a lot of their lives, actually. Now here's the thing, I break this question into two pieces.
Okay.
I break this into asking that as a spiritual side and breaking that down and asking that as a non-spiritual side. So here's what I'm getting with that. Yeah. Spiritually, what do I have to do to be worthy? Because we are told in the Bible that we are born as sinners. We are born thanks to the curse of Adam and Eve. We are born straight into sin. Sorry, that cute little baby that just born. Oh, they are looking so perfect.
They're
they are
nasty.
sinful as the rest of us. Okay.
Gross. I'm just kidding.
So what can we do to be worthy? There's nothing that we can do on our own to be worthy. The only way we can be worthy is through the blood of Christ and his forgiveness. That's the only way in God's eye. Now, from the human side, again, I separate the two because I think a lot about stuff like mental health related stuff and that.
Yeah.
So that question of what do I have to do to be worthy, that is actually a big question that a lot of people ask themselves all the time. And they're not asking it, what do I have to do to be worthy of God? Sometimes they're asking it, what do I have to do to be worthy of being loved, of being liked by other people? What do I have to do to be worthy of being tolerated? What do I have to do to be worthy of being worthy to? What do I have to do to be worthy of not feeling? There's a lot of people that ask that question, and that's why I said that's why I had to break it out very specifically, spiritual side and non-spiritual side. Because that is the question that a lot of people ask, and you look in society as a whole right now, and you see that people go, well, in order to be worthy of love, I must sell my body for sexual images on OnlyFans or whatever those sites are. You have people go, in order to be worthy of love, I must allow myself to be in an abusive relationship. In order to be worthy to live, I must degrade myself or cut myself to dull. In order to be worthy to blah, and it's never a positive, it's always a negative side. In order to be worthy of someone else's affection, I must let them control me and abrade.
Pretty much, where do you have to sell yourself short? In a sense,
in a sense, but I'm talking to the extreme. There are people out there. I'm trying to word this correctly here. There are people out there who feel that they're only, this is going to sound crude, and I have no other way to say it except to be a little. There are people out there who feel that their only contribution to society, their only purpose for living, their only reason to be alive is to be a receptacle for other people's body fluids, and that's it.
Whoa.
What? That's how degraded society is. That's how some people ask that question. What do I have to do to be worthy to live, to be loved, to be liked? And all it is their answer that they come up with is to be someone else's plate in bed, and that's it. Yeah. And to be treated like a possession.
Sounds pretty miserable.
But they trick themselves into believing it's the most enjoyable. And there's some people probably going like, what are you? It's like, I'm couching this in a very specific way because I don't want to get too crude with it. I'll leave it at that. But there are very much people like that who they ask that question, what do I have to do to be worthy of love, life? And they don't find anyone who answers that positively, or they may have a very negative perception of themselves, and because of that they have this very negative perception where the only way they can be loved is by being
that's heavy,
which is, it is sad, but but you think about it at the time, there are also people who ask that question. What do I have to do worthy of being loved, of being alive? And sometimes some of those people don't come up. Sometimes some of those, they're in a dark place and they don't see. They end up bottle cutting themselves.
Sleeping in the car?
Well, sleeping in the car in a garage.
Yeah, in a closed space.
Or shotgun to the head, or in the mouth, I should say.
Right.
Like my cousin. So this is a very important question.
Right.
And that's why it's also important that on the spiritual side, what do I have to do? The answer is no. Because God already loves us. The only thing we have, it's not, I have to go and do this, or I have to go and there's that disconnect between the side, and people don't always make that. I will tell you, when you're in a dark place, it is hard to bridge that between the spirit on those questions, because in that time you go, what do I have to do to be loved, to be worthy, to be worth? Oftentimes the answer is going to come void, but knowing that what we have to do to be worthy for God is nothing, because he already did the work, and we just have to believe in it. And because of that is what makes life worth living. That is the nice little bridge. And it seems too simplistic, too Christianese. I get it. There's a lot more with it, but I don't want to go into a 2-hour lecture. But that is a good way of thinking about it. What do we have to do to be worthy of God's love? Nothing. He already did everything. We just have to believe, and we have to confess, and we have to accept. And because of that, we are then, that gives us something worth living for.
Yeah, I say that. Passage I was trying to think of earlier. I think I found it. I mean, the main thing I was talking about is Ephesians 2 verse 9 is dialed in at. But I don't know, just for the heck of it, I guess I could read 1 through 10.
Let's see here. So I think really the crux of what you're getting at here, because you said 9, right?
Well, 9 is where it says 9.
Yeah, so I think really the crux is starting at 8.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
So starting at 8 is talking about, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good work, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in.
Yeah.
And
Because that answers the question directly right there. What do we have to do to be worthy of life? Well, we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works. Okay, we're created. Yes, we are still born in sin. Don't. I'm not saying that you tried to read anything, but I'm just saying don't jump to the conclusion, oh, we're created by Christ. Oh, we're not. No, we're still born in sin.
we're good.
Okay, it's
No,
still,
we're not.
and this also kind of answers that question that you had of like, I don't know if it was a question or just a statement that you said in your little ramblings. It was like, and I wrote this down as, I deserve pain/suffering. That's a very negative way to look at life.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what my mind likes to tell me at times. Mainly because, I don't know, it's so easy to be comfortable and, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, living life in a little bubble of being comfortable. It drives me crazy almost. And then it's like you're doing anything you can to not deal with confrontation. And then it's like, well, then what, do you really believe in something or do you not? Because then if you believe in something, at some point, you're going to kind of have friction with somebody or something at some point.
Oh, yeah. If you believe the gospel of Christ, if you believe in the Bible, you're going to run into friction with people. I ran into this past week. Friction with someone that I made friends with over the past year.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it came down to biblically, and he calls himself a brother, right? And so biblically, I'm like, you are way off on this right now. I'm not going to call him out right now. That's not the right. But we had a major disagreement. Bible. One of his comments he made it on someone else's comments was like, well, God loves, so don't judge. That sort of. And I was just like, no, you're not getting it. Okay. But again, that's coming back to that whole judgment thing and everything, But even though we disagree, even though I see the Bible from that more conservative, not politically, but that more conservative religiously, and he's from that more liberal, progressive side of things. I don't think anyone deserves pain or suffering for that, even if they're outside. I don't think anyone deserves pain or suffering just for living. And the fact, and the fact that we can sometimes sit back and go, "I have it so good, I deserve pain and suffering." That is a special kind of selfishness. That is a special kind of selfishness where it's like, I have it so good. Look at me. I deserve some pain because I'm just so great. I know that's not how it's like you're attempting it. I get it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, ends up being where it is.
Okay.
That's kind of how it is. It's like it's a special kind of selfishness.
Yeah.
Like I have it so good, and I'm just so great. I should have some. I should have some pain.
I need a little hurt right now.
And yes, I understand you couch it on the other things of like, man, I'm not being dedicated. I'm not being this. I'm not doing this. I have it so good with all the physical stuff around me and all the luxuries and everything. I should have a little pain and I should have a little suffering. I should have a little discomfort. Why? What about any of that says that there should be pain and discomfort?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like therapy sessions anymore.
But I mean, we get into that mindset that if we have it too well, we're doing something wrong and we should suffer because of it. And I'm not saying that's just you. No, I'm saying that's society as a whole. Okay. And maybe that's something that reflects poorly on us as a society and how we've grown.
Right. I guess the way I feel like, I don't know. I guess as far as for me is I don't feel like I've really worked for much. That's the one
okay.
So that's I don't know. I guess that's one thing that
means you deserve pain, suffering. Why?
Oh, I guess the pain and suffering stuff. Not really.
Okay.
But I guess
so you didn't work for stuff. So what does that mean?
I don't know.
Does that mean you deserve something?
I shouldn't have as much as I haven't worked for all of it like some other people do. I don't know. That's like I guess I don't know. Maybe that's just something or why. I don't know how to say it. I mean, looking at other friends, like they have to save, like, as far as music equipment, they have to do a ton of saving to get that guitar they've won. Me, necessarily, I don't have to. Now, would that be smart? No. But it's like, I don't know. And that, again, this is at the moment. At some point, I'm going to have to work my work my butt off
Now just because you've been
for stuff.
temporarily monetarily blessed,
Yeah.
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 Part of it is
And I guess there is some
Well,
suffering that comes
as I
with
said,
that.
part of it is your
because-
motorcycle accident. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's
So
not beat around the bush.
Oh
that's,
no,
that's where a
what
lot
it
of the
is.
money's coming from.
That's what it is.
Okay?
Yeah.
But-
so there's some suffering, I guess, in as far as that goes.
Yeah, but it's not you're suffering because of your physical goods. It's you got into an accident and then you use the money that came in from it to help buy these goods.
no, yeah. As far as that goes, yeah.
It's not like you borrowed money from a mafia member and he goes, "You don't pay me back in time, I'm going to break your wrist," and you had your wrist broken.
Frick, no, no. And I guess but that's I don't know. That's one thing where I mean, I know I'm majorly blessed with how I'm doing even just now because the accident hurt, a lot of pain. And even now today, going to work, I'll have pain, stuff like that. So I guess there is that. I just don't think about it. I'm just so used to it. But it's I guess that is, as you're talking about, that whole, it's a special kind of selfishness, I guess. Because where it's okay, a lot of people might not have the issues that I'm having right now.
It's like,
But I need it worse now because this is okay. This isn't as bad as other got it. So I need it worse.
yeah,
I hate it.
what is it? I'm trying to remember what movie they had. I don't remember the movie. But anyways, back in the old days.
Ooh.
There were certain sects of the church. No, SECTS.
Yeah.
I have a speech impediment where my C's and my S's and all that do not always sound right. I have a funny story about that this week from work.
Nice.
But anyways, where they believe that, and these were like monks, so they're living in monasteries, didn't have a lot of material, right? And they felt that the only way that they could be closer to God, that the only way that they could be pure, was essentially they would go into a corner, take their shirt off, and whip themselves on the back to feel pain. Because that was the only way that they felt that they could show their devotion, or they wanted that pain, they wanted to show that suffering. That was the only way. In a way, I kind of put that same thing where people who are decently blessed, and let's be honest, even some of the poorest people in America are decently blessed compared to other countries, okay? I'm not saying they don't have it hard, where maybe they're having trouble feeding their families, and I'm not saying that. That could be very well the situation, but compared to other countries, most are doing pretty well,
Yeah.
But for those who are doing better off than most,
Yeah.
and going, I need to have some for this too, and then
It is.
it's like that monk sitting in the corner, whipping himself in the back and going, "This is the only way I can feel close to God. This is the only way I can repent. This is the only way I can be holy, is to cause myself pain and repent and show myself pain."
Oh my god.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it is. It's just so funny to look at it that way. Just
It is.
throwing yourself a pity party.
It is, but I
Now I feel disgusted with myself.
But I think that's also some of the ways of which
Right.
our lives in America, especially, have gone so soft in ways
Oh yeah.
that we feel guilty. And to be fair, there's a lot of people, politicians and all that, and social influencers, I put that in quotation mark and all that, who say you should feel so guilty because
I'm a white guy.
you're a white supremacist, or you're a rich, or you're this, or you're that, or you're the 1%, or if you're 1%, you should give all your money away, which that sort of stuff, right? And you see all that, and then you always hear the fun stories of the OK Boomer girl. you remember her?
Yes.
She just showed off her $2 million apartment that she bought, and so she's getting a whole bunch of pushback now because people are like, okay, you were making fun of older people and all this, and now you're being that materialistic wealthy person that you were against. And it's see,
funny.
but like I said, we have the life pretty good here in America.
Absolutely.
And so that's why sometimes we look around and we're told we need to look around and be like, oh, please forgive me, great Sophia Giants. Please put your blessing upon me and let me know that you still find me worthy of being on. It sounds almost like a prayer, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah, it does. Ooh,
I feel like I should be like
cringy
ringing a bell. Ding, ding, ding. Please say 5 hail Facebooks. But because we have it so, like I said, sometimes we do feel a little guilty. And there's nothing wrong with feeling a little guilty, because then it keeps us from going out and buying 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, there ain't that many in here. What are you talking about?
However many guitars are down here. No, I'm just kidding. But it keeps you from, going through and buying 5 billion guitars, a bunch of speakers, a couple drum sets, buying a drum set on the fly, that sort of deal.
I was going to trade in, okay?
But that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
So it's not that you deserve pain or suffering, but maybe it's a little thing of like, hey, maybe I need to look around and not think of it as pain and suffering. I deserve pain and suffering, but maybe look around and be like, I am blessed.
Yeah.
Do I really need more, or can I keep it at where it's at?
Yeah. And be content.
And
with
be
what I
content,
have.
because here's the thing, we all have to realize eventually well, maybe not you right now, but eventually most people, they get to a point where their life outstrips their finances, and then all of a sudden collapse.
Oh, yeah. And then that's a whole new world of fun.
So
That's where you pretty much lose everything.
Yeah.
And that's not fun.
exactly. So that's
Yeah.
why I said maybe we don't necessarily need
Yeah.
to think I deserve pain in that. Maybe I have been blessed,
Oh, yeah.
and I need to keep this in check where I don't cause more issues. Because eventually you get too much, and you're like 10 guitars away from a hoarder situation.
But you know what? If I don't make it on a show of people with the greatest obsession, too concerned about it, I'd have to get a lot. I mean, think of all the famous musicians that have a ton
They also have a bigger
guitars.
house.
Okay, fine.
Anything else you want to add for your therapy session?
No, I'll save the people. Maybe I'll have another therapy session.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us on episode 1 of Aaron's Therapy Sessions. We will catch you on the next episode of Use Your Words podcast.